So, shall I buy a private jet or shall I charter? This is the question that you're asking yourself. And in this episode of Budget TV, we're going to address that. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of chartering, the pros and cons of owning your own aircraft. And I'll give you an example of what happened to a client of mine just recently and why they chose to go down the charter route and not the ownership route. My name is Fabrizio. Welcome to Budget TV. I'm an aviation advisor, your aviation advisor, and also airline transport pilot and the author of the book, The Quantum Economy. Lots of information here on private jet travel, on private jet ownership and the advantages in that, and the stories of a number of businesses that are using private jets to build their business and how that is a really, really valuable tool, which really accelerates you. But there'll be a special offer regarding the book towards the end of the video, so keep watching. So let's go into the situation. And I'll start with a story. So this client of mine was based in Canada, and they were looking at buying an airplane, which was going to cost them about just over $3 million. And to operate the airplane is going to cost them about a couple of million a year. So that's $5 million all in. Now, they decided to go down the route of chartering. They got an offer to charter an airplane for 200 hours a year at $5,000 an hour, which is just $1 million. And they went down the route of chartering. So they did this, they've done the deal, and they're going to fly charter for a year. Now, the reason they chose this is because the taxation system in Canada is not in favor of private jet ownership. So that's one aspect. So they couldn't really write off the whole thing. So 5 million compared to 1 million, that's a $4 million difference. They don't really have to plan they plan their trips in advance, so they don't suddenly spring into action at last minute. So they don't have that necessity, and they're not really concerned about branding the airplane outside and inside. So that's why they've gone down that route. And I think they made the right decision. The only issue they may encounter is if suddenly they need to go in a couple of days' time and the airplane's not available because the owners are using it or it's on another charter. In that case, they're going to be caught out. And that's kind of a disadvantage, especially these days where chartering is up. Sometimes ringing around when I get customers call me, they need a charter. It does take a while to find an airplane, depending on the situation and what airplane they need and what part of the world they're flying to. But, you know, it has taken me like a day and a half to find an airplane sometimes. Because the way I go about it is I look for only operators that I trust, and there aren't many that I trust. I'll be very honest. I've been in this industry 35 years, seen enough people crash and die to know which operators work and which don't. So going back to owning an airplane or chartering an airplane. Now, when is ownership a good idea? Now, the ballpark figure is 200 to 300 hours a year. If that's what you're planning on flying, then ownership is certainly something you need to look at. But I would say we have to look at the country you're based in and also the state within that country to see if the laws are in favor of private jet ownership. Now, in America, the US government just recently reapproved bonus depreciation to go back up from 60 to 100%. And that was bipartisan, by the way. Both the Democrats and the Republicans have voted in favor of this. So that's really, really good for the American economy that, both parties are pro-private jet. And this is really, really a good thing. So in that case, even if you're going to spend $5 million between buying a plane for $3 million and operating it the first year for $2 million, you can write off the $5 million completely. So instead of paying $5 million to the tax man, just buy your own airplane. Now what happens? You've got the advantage of being able to customize the airplane. If you want to put your logo on the outside, some people don't like to do that, or you just customize the interior, which is a great advantage from a branding perspective when you're flying customers with you or you're sending the plane out to pick customers up. They get in the airplane and they see your logo all over the place, and that certainly sends a clear message to your customer. That's one advantage. The other advantage is having the ability to spring into action at short notice. And this is very, very powerful. And I talk about this in the quantum economy because that really does get you working at a quantum level a lot faster than anybody else and in a flexible manner that the competition is maybe struggling with. So this is something that, someone needs to consider when they're growing their company and you want to take your company from 100 million to 500 million. Having your own private jet as a business tool is going to be really, really important. And as I always say, the private jet is like innovation. You can't measure it from a balance sheet perspective before you acquire it. You can only measure it afterwards. And that's the way to look at it. As many people that I've spoken to have said, you get the jet and you do end up flying more than you planned because you start to discover other ways of using the jet. And it's often what's going to make you money are the questions you're not asking yourself right now. So that's really, really key. So once you have the jet and you say, well, this jet's sitting in the hangar, it's costing me money every day. How can I use the jet with the current deals that I've got in the making? How can I use the jet to maybe go out there and close those deals sooner, or make those deals bigger, or maybe go after deals that I haven't even got on the table right now, but I can go out there and do those deals quicker because I've got the private jet. This is the kind of thinking that happens when suddenly you have the jet, you own it, it's sitting in the hangar, you're getting the bills every month to pay the pilot salaries, their health insurance, the airplane insurance, some of the maintenance, which is fixed whether you fly or not. You're getting these bills every month. And so the thinking starts to become, well, how can I use this plane so that those bills are paid? And that really, really is key. And you don't get that when you charter, because when you charter, you just think about, oh, I have to go and see John next week in Los Angeles. Oh, let's call up and use some of the 200 hours I bought, or let's just call up the local charter company and organize a charter for next Tuesday, fly out to LA to meet with John, and then we'll fly back in the evening, kind of thing. And you're only going to pay for that flight. Now, if that's the where you sit right now, or if in the country where you live, you can write that trip off, but you couldn't write off buying a private jet, well, then that's a solution for you. And as I always say here on BizJet TV, I can only give you general information. We really need to get specific about your case. And that's why I have a special offer for you today. If you buy a copy of The Quantum Economy, click on the link below. It'll take you straight to a page where you can buy the book. And then once you've bought the book, if you write a review and email me the review of the book, I will do a free call with you. We'll talk one-to-one about your specific case. These calls are usually paid for, but if you buy the book and write a review, I'll give you one free call where I'll be able to sort of hone in on your specific case and give you specific solution to you and your organization. And that's something I think is really, really important these days, is understanding the dynamics of where you are, where your business is, and how the private jet, maybe, because it may not be the right thing for you. Maybe it's just a good idea to charter in the beginning. And again, it depends on your situation. So let's get on a call and let's find out more about you, your business, where you intend to go with your business, how you want to grow your company over the next few years, where you're going to fly in and out of, where there could be opportunities where you haven't been going recently because flying on the airlines is a bit of a tedious exercise. The private jet, they've proved, even studies have proved that production of people are more productive, 30% more productive on a private jet than they are in the office. That's an interesting one. So you get your team and have a meeting on the private jet at 35,000 feet. You're going to be more productive in that meeting than if you had the meeting on the ground. Now, that's an interesting fact that not many people know about. And I talk about this and many other things in my book, The Quantum Economy. So I hope you enjoyed this video. So give us a thumbs up, comment below. We like to see the conversation going here. And also remember to subscribe to this channel and share this video with your friends and family and business associates and that. And grab yourself a copy of The Quantum Economy and check out this video interview I did recently with this owner who talks about how private jet ownership, they started off with some propeller airplanes, and how they used the airplane all the way along to grow their company and then eventually have a really, really good exit, and how the private airplane was key in doing this. It's a really interesting story from a business perspective and from an aviation perspective. And so check this video out, because I'm sure you'll find it really, really interesting and educational at the same time. And that's all from Fabrizio here on BizJet TV, and I'll see you on the next one.